AskReddit by plausible cultability. What conspiracy theory really annoys you? The whole Mayans predicted the world will end in 2012 thing from 13-15 years ago really annoyed me at the time. The Mayans never predicted the end of the world. They just had a very complicated calendar system. The end of their longest cycle was in 2012 and they hadn't bothered to make another calendar for the next cycle because it was over 1000 years away, so they had time, and why not let that be the work of someone close to when it's needed. It'd be like if in January of 2024 you looked around and didn't see any 2025 calendars yet, so you assumed that meant we predicted the world would end at the end of 2024. I always saw it more akin to us not writing the year as 02024. Not saying we think the world will end when the year 10,000 comes around, just no point in us writing it. That someone somewhere has the one-size-fits-all cure for cancer and is withholding it for long-term financial gain for the healthcare system. As someone who works in a cancer center and has seen both the most compassionate and the most vulnerable of the human race, I find even the notion insulting. If you ask someone who believes this why, they usually say it's because we always see news stories about new treatments that are never heard from again. The reason we never hear about them again is because they were pilot studies, and the actual studies showed they really weren't better than our current treatments. That the Powerball lottery in the US was created to catch time travelers. It should only annoy you if you're a time traveler. Flat Earth. I stupidly decided to watch a debate in JFC. Their arguments are so stupid. Here's 4. 1. You can only prove what you can experimentally do yourself. As in, unless you do all research yourself you can't be sure. 2. NASA was founded by Nazis. Therefore, if you believe them, you support Nazis. 3. Pilots use flat maps. Therefore, flat. Like screens are to blame, I guess. 4. If there's no ice wall, why is Antarctica always on the bottom? As if the Mercator projection is the only map. One I just read about. Some conspiracy idiots think no one was on the Challenger. That it was all fake, and they're all still alive. While this one could be theoretically plausible, what purpose would it serve? They trick the public into thinking a rocket explodes and astronauts die. For what reason? They usually orchestrate false flags and such to make themselves look better and more competent than they really are. I don't know if annoy is the right word here, but Sandy Hook truthers are definitely the most detestable. And I consider myself someone who enjoys reading and talking about conspiracy theories. I was once in a heated argument with a Sandy Hook denier. I was like, dude. I have a friend who works in the school district. She had a student who lost a sibling. She knows many of the families and he just goes, they're all actors, and your friend must be in on it. I just couldn't argue with him, because he was so set in his made up ways. I've noticed a growing trend in the 9/11 was stage conspiracy community that there never were any planes to hit the towers. They believe they were CGI in all the footage and that it was actually missiles. Absolutely so unbelievably stupid, lol. The Catholic Church killed 55 million people in the Middle Ages. I forget the exact number, but it's so exaggerated that actual historians have done the math and it would effectively mean the church beheaded or burned more people than the entire population of Europe in those days. The moon landing being fake. Despite all the evidence, people still sit and think they know better than literally everyone else, including the Soviet Union, on proving its legitimacy. It also brings on the religionists. The fact that the Soviets never disputed the landings is the biggest nail in the coffin for the conspiracy theory in my mind. If there was even a shred of doubt about it, they would have been champing at the bit to point it out. Jewish space lasers causing California wildfires. Because there are no other simpler ways to start a fire. The conspiracy that 15-minute cities are this dystopian nightmare where you will not be able to leave 15 minutes away from your house or some shit, and it's really a government ploy to control us. It's completely insane, so I may forget a few details, but it's so far from the truth it's not even funny. For anyone not aware, 15-minute cities are an idea that you should be able to travel to anything you would need. For example, the store, in 15 minutes or less from anywhere within a city, which would promote walking, biking, etc. This one is kinda harmless, so it just annoys me. Anti-vax shit or anti-science conspiracies enrages me due to the harm they can cause. I moved continents to get to a 15-minute city. A little extreme, yes, but the climate I wanted doesn't exist in Canada. If you're gonna move, why not go big? Anti-vaxxers and autism. They act as though autism is worse than death. Autistic people are some of the most interesting people I know. Everyone is autistic according to them. Holocaust denial is a huge bummer. And I'm starting to see Pizzagate making the rounds again. Absolutely breaks my heart, most of my family members have become Holocaust deniers. They are also Pizzagaters, Trumpers and anti-vax, but only since COVID. I can't be in their lives anymore because I can't have a single goddamn conversation with them that isn't frustrating. The moon landing and flat earth. Smooth brain club to believe any of those. I believe in the moon landing. I know people have already commented on this, but it's got to be the Apollo moon landing was fake conspiracy. We have literally so much evidence that we have been to the moon. The main one is vaccines cause autism. Parents are literally not having their children vaccinated based in lies from conspiracy people. It's sad and disgusting. Conspiracy people are a scourge, but not sure what we can do about it. I have lost friends to the truther and other nonsense conspiracy movements that are legit poisonous to not only their own minds, but to society at large. How can we control misinformation? Obviously education-specific media literacy is crucial, but what else can be done? Any theory that discounts or harasses victims of a tragedy. Controlled demolition on 9/11. Aside from it being physically impossible given the observations, it shits on the first responders and innocent civilians that died that day. For me, this is such a big one. The planes are a perfectly reasonable explanation. No need to look beyond that when evidence doesn't support bombs at all. Sandy Hook. It takes a lot to be openly moronic and evil at the same time. Alex Jones is such a piece of shit. The entire vaccine theory, that if you get vaccinated the government is placing a microchip into your body so they can control you. Or if you get vaccinated you will more than likely grow extra toes and fingers. This just boggles my mind. If you ever served in the military you receive every vaccination known to man as you arrive at boot camp. I served and still am waiting for my extra fingers toes so that I can make the big bucks. If anything, you got bigger chances of ending up with less fingers toes than before serving. I know birds aren't real is supposed to be a parody conspiracy theory, but the amount of idiots that believe it annoys me. I don't think people think that one is real. Hearing the word pandemic makes my skin crawl. And jab. Sandy Hook truthers are monsters, and there's right-wing subs devoted to that shit. I know someone who believes all school mass shootings are staged fake in order for the libs to take away guns. That all the people involved are actors and paid handsomely to play along. Whenever he spouts this and other clear bullshit I like to respond, you have a lot more faith in the libs than I do. I don't think they could pull off something like that. Thankfully this gets him to mostly shut up with that crap around me. Vaccines. Like the reason you see nobody with these diseases is because vaccines work and are safe. I saw on our conspiracy once, every now and then I look out of morbid curiosity, that there are quite a number of posts suggesting the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, is not real and the pictures are art. My brother worked on several different parts of that telescope at NASA Goddard, and it's incredibly insulting to suggest that the hundreds of people who worked on it were faking it.